Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
All right, back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Bushman, the good sheriff, Richard Mack, CSPOA.org on your radio. Man, when you've got great guests and it's just great radio, time just flies, Sheriff. Can you believe hour one's already gone?
Yeah, I thought that too. I really wanted to keep Pastor Torello on a lot longer. It so aligns with everything you and I have been talking about for decades.
Question.
You know, so I love it when I can say he reminds me of me.
Well, and he doubles down and provides the definitive modern guide on a historical principle that's been around, forever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and historically and biblically, he's absolutely correct. He said there was about 70 passages that support this.
Principle, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I love what he's doing. And I obviously everywhere I go, I get asked, well, do you know about Matt Torello's book? And I said, oh yeah, people ask me about it all the time. And I'm ashamed to say I've never read the whole thing, but I'm going to. It's a very, what I have read is very powerful, and absolutely love the work that he's doing.
And Sheriff Mack is quoted in the book for clarity, and that's why, again, this clown over at IREHR or whatever wants to go ahead and try to divide and conquer. What I would say to Devin Burkhart is this. Hey, Devin, why don't you bring a couple of your other clowns with you, whoever you want to bring, you and two other clowns, and me and Sheriff Mack and Matt Trahilla will go ahead and, you know what, we'll debate it point by point. And, I'm sure we could set up a national TV or an X feed, a YouTube feed or whatever, and we'll just broadcast it live and we'll just have the epic throwdown debate. You put your best ideas, thoughts, whatever forward. We'll do the same, and we'll see at the end what the American people think, shall we? I'm ready, Sheriff.
Yeah, let's do it. I've already challenged him to honest, open debates, and he has never accepted, but maybe this will be the clicker.
I would hope so, but I think he's afraid to debate the point because I think he, deep down inside, I think he knows the truth, Sheriff. I just think he gets some filthy lucre for peddling the porn of the other direction, right?
Well, I pointed that out to him in my response, saying, first of all, you're a communist, and communism is the antithesis of human rights. And you actually talk about human rights, but you're far from it. You're talking and promoting the destruction of human rights and civil rights. So then after that, I never heard from him again. That was the end of our conversation because he wanted me to denounce, Bill Mitchell out in Florida, our state director there.
Not going to do it.
Well, he put something on his letterhead or something about the doctrine of the lesser magistrate. I didn't remember that he did. I don't know if I ever even saw that, but it's fine. That's what we're about. But I also will take issue a little bit with the lesser magistrate. I do not believe that the sheriff is a lesser magistrate. He is the head magistrate in his county. And in every
you're
county.
right. You're right 100% on the facts on that because there's jurisdictional differences. Even the Supreme Court called the sheriff the CLEO, the chief law enforcement officer. But part of the lesser magistrate discussion has to do with the principle that even if you are the perceived lesser. So let me give you an example back in the Magna Carta days. Wasn't it the people that went to the king and basically forced him to go along?
The barons, yes.
The barons, yeah. But they were lesser than the king were. If you accept the old school view that the king is the god or the greater magistrate. The truth is we learned from the Declaration of Independence and the Magna Carta that we the people elect servants to serve us. The servants are the lesser magistrates, not the people. In this case. And so I guess what I'm saying is even the perceived lesser magistrate is part of the point of the doctrine.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and I understand the title of his book, no question. But also I think we need to dispel, and I don't know, maybe he did this in his book, that the federal government is not our king. they have very little authority over the states, if any, but it's very little. Whatever they have is very little. And this thing that has come up lately, Sam, where Trump just recently got in a fight, an argument, or a confrontation. I'm not going to say a fight with the governor of Maine. And he was speaking at a governor's group, and he goes, "Is the governor of Maine here?" And then she spoke up, and they ended up telling each other, "Oh, we'll just see each other in court," because she won't back down from supporting men being able to play in women's sports. And of course, most everybody else in the country knows how ridiculous it is. And so he talked about not sending any federal monies to Maine. That should not be happening in the first place, Sam.
Well, that's exactly right. And furthermore, since when did it become a government issue to decide if men can play in women's sports or women can play in men's sports? See, women tried to play in men's sports, which started this whole discussion off. But since when did it become any kind of government issue at all?
2 or 3 women in history of basketball have tried to make it in the NBA.
They can't get it done, buddy.
And none of them have come even close. We're talking about the best players. Caitlin Clark is somebody I totally admire. Her skill as a basketball player. She would not make it in the NBA.
Of course not.
She's fast enough. She's not strong enough. She's not big enough. If she was a lot quicker and faster, maybe. But she wouldn't even come close to being able to keep up with the man. And another lady who I totally admire, Serena Williams, the best tennis player in the history of tennis, she even said way before all this transgender stuff came up about, the battle between men and women. And she goes, "I would not last with any of these men. There's no way. They're so much faster and stronger." And women who tell the truth, like that. And we're not just out for us. That's why there's women's tennis, and that's why there's men's tennis. And it's fair that way. It's honest. And for this governor to keep pushing this, that no, we're going to have it. And he warned her about that. But
here's my opinion. Why is the government even involved, the state or the federal, in whether men play in women's sports or women play in men's sports?
Well, that's
private.
A good question too. But why
there should be no government involvement at all.
Right. Why are they involved in funding the states anything? The states should just be already funded. They don't. Where does the federal government get its money?
Well,
the states and the
states should raise money based on apportionment and then hand their portion to the general government if the government behaves properly.
Correct. That negates the IRS altogether again.
I hear that. And then they can have tariffs to generate a little more revenue if necessary or whatever. I'm fine with all that. But I look at it and I go, let's say we have Sam Bushman's Sport League, whatever it is. If it's a private organization, I can decide if women or men are in there together or not or whatever else, right?
Well, you would think so.
If it's my group, right, I can decide that. And if people don't like it, they can walk away. If they like it, they can and stuff. So to me, you got at colleges, you have men and women and what do they call those things? It's like men and women play together. It's like the powder puff leagues or whatever else. Or
co-ed.
Yeah, co-ed. Okay, so they even have that stuff in college, but it's because people aren't trying to compete at the highest levels of Olympic competition kind of stuff for the bet. They're just trying to have fun together and stuff like that. And so it all depends on the intent of the league. I don't mind even men and women playing together if people agree to the rules of the private organization first. Hey, if you don't like my league where it's co-ed, then don't join it. And, so all I'm saying is I don't even see how we let the government be involved in this. Of all things the government needs to be involved in, this is probably the last one. What does the government? And the only answer is funding. Well, how do we get so stupid to let government fund that in the first place?
Yeah, okay. So my Supreme Court decision actually discusses the power to tax. And it's on my decision. It starts on page 4 and then it finishes on page 5 in my little booklet, pocket-sized booklet here. Brutus's, and that's talking about one of the founding fathers using that as a pen name, Brutus's assertion in his letter to the New York Journal stated that the Constitution opens a door to the appointment of a swarm of revenue and excise officers to prey upon the honest and industrious part of the community, eat up their substance, and let's see, where it says riot on the spoils of the country. Publius responded that Congress will probably make use of the state officers and state regulations for collecting federal taxes. So just what you said is absolutely true. The states can forward whatever taxes they owe and then forget all of this IRS crap.
Amen to that. We need to get to Donald. Hang tight. Quick pause. You're listening to Liberty Roundtable Live.
In the medical field, IT security is crucial. Our highly skilled consultants are HIPAA certified and have 20-plus years of experience servicing medical clinics, billing, and supply companies. We offer comprehensive endpoint protection, guarding your computers and servers against all stages of threats. And with our 24/7 monitoring services, you'll never worry about extensive downtime again. Ready to level up your IT support? Call 801-706-6980 today and discover how great IT services can be with managed IT services.
Step into the boots of the American West with Range Magazine, where grit meets grace. This is a front row seat to the stories, struggles, and triumphs of ranchers, farmers, and stewards of the land. From jaw-dropping photography to no-nonsense reporting, Range brings you the untold tales of life on the range. Whether you're a city dweller with a cowboy's heart or living life where the pavement ends, Range speaks to the soul of the West. Subscribe today at rangemagazine.com.
This is a battle between truth and deceit, a battle between forces that would enslave this country in darkness, and between a media that wants to present you with the truth. We are being censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in fact.
TheEpochTimes.com.
Looking for an IT partner that truly understands your needs? Managed IT Services is the answer. We meet with you regularly to discuss your goals and form a tailored technology plan. Our customers have called us a trusted advisor who delivers. When it comes to IT, we do it all. Firewalls, cloud storage, server migration, and more. Say goodbye to long-term contracts and hello to a team that earns your business month after month. Call 801-706-6980 now and let Managed IT Services transform your IT experience.
Hey, Sheriff, I got a really complicated question for you. I don't know if you can handle this question. Well, strangely, anybody in the private sector can answer the question really easy. It's government that can't seem to answer the question. Headline says this, quote, confusion reigns over Elon Musk's, quote, what did you do last week email. I don't understand this. Okay. These guys are literally melting down. A defiant threat by Elon Musk, warning that federal employees will be getting a second chance to respond to his invitation by email to justify their jobs or risk termination. They've been given a second chance. They say it's likely to spark another round of confusion across the government, Sheriff. And I just don't understand how this can be confusing. He says, I want 5 bullet points and an email back. What did you do last week? Now, to me, I have bosses that ask me this kind of stuff daily, Sheriff. You know, hey, what are you doing? What are you focused on? And we usually sit down and discuss priorities of what my bosses want me to do. So let me just tell you a couple of things I did last week. And then, you can do the same and just see. I don't understand how this is hard. I could literally write up what I did last week in probably 5-10 minutes, send it easily. So last week, just so you know, I literally did 12 hours of live, hard-hitting news the networks refuse to use style talk radio, okay? 12 hours of it. And just so you know, it takes probably at least an hour out of school or 2 hours out of school for every hour in school, or on the radio, I mean. So if you take 12 hours on the radio, it's got to be at least another 20 hours off the radio. So that's 32 hours, ladies and gentlemen, with hard-hitting talk radio at your fingertips, right? Then on Mondays, I do my live video feeds. So I got with my video editor guy, and I laid down the videos. I do 5 or 6 videos, so you get a video daily kind of a thing, or every other day, depending on how many I can produce. I did that. Okay, and that takes some prep time and everything else, couple hours in the video things. So, now we're at 34 hours. I worked with several companies relating to tariffs. So there's all kinds of tariff details that are changing. Well, businesses have to adapt their software to those changes. So I worked on, I think it's called, what is it, the de minimis or whatever it's called. Anyway, where you can bring products in from Canada, ship them directly to consumer. And so I adjusted software to help, get rid of that because Trump got rid of it. Then Trump put it back. So now I'm working on changing the software to put it back, only to find out a little later I'm going to have to change it again because the tariffs are coming on in March. So anyway, I spent a bunch of time on that. And then I spent a bunch of time on security for clients that I work for. I spent a bunch of time with the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, setting up interviews and this kind of stuff and shipping products. And I can keep going forever, Sheriff.
Yeah, of course.
I don't have to think about it. It was just hard work all week long, buddy. 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. That's what happened.
Yeah, that's normal procedure with any employee and employer relationships. What did you do last week? And boy, what a firestorm that caused. Just answer the questions and forget it. What? Why is that such a hard thing?
I was eating a late lunch with my wife.
They're wanting to pass a bill to get rid of Musk.
Yeah, I was eating lunch with my wife yesterday too, a late lunch, and she said, "Hey, what have you been working on today? You've been seemed extremely busy today." I'm like, "Well, I did a couple of hours of talk radio, and then I got off the radio and I met with some software companies about some problems that they're having, and I provided some kind of a blueprint for solutions. I wrote a letter to them on company letterhead, and I did this and that, and I helped some people make some decisions on some software technology implementations they wanted to work on. And then I just said to my wife, I do so much, it's hard to even remember all that I did. But literally 5 bullet points is all you got to put in your email of what I did. I think we ought to all, send in what we did. I don't understand how these bureaucrats can have a cow about that. Isn't that standard practice?
Do you know that the president can hire personal advisors?
Yeah.
And his former attorney, Alina Habba, is a advisor to the president. Are they going to try to pass a bill to fire her too and get rid of her?
Well, they got to do is put Sam Bushman as their advisor. I could be their technological advisor, and I could basically say, "Hey, I want to know what everybody did this week."
I could be their doctrine of a lesser magistrate advisor.
But what did you do last week, Sheriff? Let's just lay it out.
I did your show.
Yes.
I did several other shows.
Yes.
I had a meeting with some of our marketing guys. I had a meeting with Sheriff Lamb, and I got home from Utah, where I was helping my daughter with my wife, and then I can't think of it. Well, yeah.
Well, you forgot about the posse, Sheriff.
I wrote a letter to. I wrote an email to a sheriff in Arizona.
And you were on the posse with Jack, right?
Oh yeah, and I did the posse. Yeah, and we did the posse, and we had Sheriff Bob Sumner on with us.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I look at this and I go, who can't literally, they didn't ask for a book, a dissertation, an accounting for every moment of the day or any, all Elon Musk said was, I want 5 bullet points of what you did last week. And if you're going to write and you can't put that together, you should absolutely, unequivocally be fired.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Now, I can add to a ton of things I did last week in addition to all those things. Every guest that appears on the radio, somebody's got to book them. So, I was on the phone yesterday with Mr. Trujillo. We are going, or not Trujillo. Wow. I was on the phone with the Matthew Trujillo. And basically he was sick last weekend, and so we were kind of going back and forth, if he felt like he was going to be healthy enough to be on the radio. So we were kind of going back and forth the times. I had to coordinate with Eldon Stahl. I had to coordinate with Sheriff Richard Mack. Yesterday was Monday, so I had on Scott Bradley and Lowell Nelson, had to work with them and get the content ready for those guys. I mean, I'm just saying it's so easy to tell what you do if you really work, Sheriff. It's not hard. And, you know, I might even, if I didn't know what I did last week, because I can't remember for some strange, weird reason, all you got to do is go look through your emails and see what people sent you and what you sent them, or look through your calendar and see what appointments you had. Or, I mean, this is so easy. And if you still can't know, why don't you write an email to Elon Musk that said, you know, I can't remember what I did last week. I know it was a whirlwind, but I can't remember. However, this week I'll document 5 of the most important things I did and send it to you at the end of the week. Will that work? Even a response like that would be acceptable, wouldn't it, Sheriff?
Well, yeah, you would think so. But this whole derangement syndrome that they have about this, that they ignore this huge gorilla in the room that has been so wrapped up in cultural corruption in Washington, D.C. Yeah, it is a psychosis, because it's okay for us to have this corruption and this dishonest expenditure system, and the people's money, nobody cares about that. Why are you trying to cause trouble, saying we can't spend people's money however we want? So, no, my goodness, Sam. So, wow. That's why I'm still shocked that Pastor Truella got invited to a National Sheriff's Association meeting.
Well, we're excited about that. That's good news. And again, you know, I think what we need to start doing is having you and the good pastor start to speak together and write maybe a letter to all 3,000 sheriffs together.
Yeah.
And we can even mention that the National Sheriff's Association, you know, basically was willing to support and promote that. And anyway, but I don't understand what they say is this confusion over Musk's "what did you do last week?" Even if you want to push back and you don't want to write that, Sheriff, how is there confusion about that? Like, you don't know what he's asking, or you don't, I mean, I don't understand the confusion. It's really simple. Yep. I want you to send me 5 bullet points of what did you do last week in your job. And if you don't, it's not going to go well for you. Is that really confusing, Sheriff?
No, it's not confusing at all. If you know what your job is and you actually did something, it's confusing to someone who sat at home and did nothing on their job.
I can give you 5 bullet points every single day, Sheriff. Right now, what am I doing? I'm on the radio after a preparation to be on the radio with all the highlight. And now I'm writing notes while we're talking so that you guys can have incredible show notes summarizing everything we talk about. And then I use those show notes later. For example, I don't know if you know this, but on Saturday, I was on the radio with Scoop Stanton, our dear friend. And all of a sudden, he was at CPAC. And in CPAC, you just run around and find guests. And so Scoop Stanton found a guest. And he found this guest by the name of Tom. And Tom was on our radio program a year ago, almost to the day, believe it or not. And I couldn't remember exactly when he was on with us. But when he put Tom on the radio as a guest, I went and found the previous show notes. And he basically is the guy that reports all these strange blood clots that these people that deal with dead people, what are they called? Funeral directors, or what are they called? Morticians, yeah. All these morticians, he does this report, or he pulls all these morticians to see what they're seeing relating to COVID-19 in bodies and stuff. Anyway, so I was able to recall a year ago what we talked about and inject that into the conversation with incredible updates because of the notes that I took while I was on the radio last time. Anyway, I'm just telling you right now, I don't understand this. This confusion over this just tells you how dysfunctional government has really become. Hang tight, the good sheriff and yours truly continue on your radio.
How would you like to help this program reach more people and earn silver at the same time? Call or text 801-669-2211 for complete details.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. What President Trump describes as one big, beautiful bill is expected to come to a vote later today in the House. It's a budget bill that would advance major elements of the president's agenda, including more money for border security, as well as an extension of the Trump tax cuts that are due to expire. House Speaker Mike Johnson is working to round up the necessary Republican votes for the bill, while the Democrats, they stand united against it. President Trump endorses the latest candidate to announce a gubernatorial bid in the Buckeye State.
The Ohio governor's race is heating up, with biotech entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy jumping into the 2026 race. Republican Governor Mike DeWine is term limited. The Cincinnati-born former presidential candidate joins the Republican primary field a month after the former Lieutenant Governor John Husted was appointed to fill Vice President J.D. Vance's Senate seat. Husted's backers will be looking to switch their allegiance. Other Republican candidates include Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost and Heather Hill, a black entrepreneur from Appalachia. On the Democratic side is Dr. Amy Acton, the former state health director. I'm Jennifer King.
Democrats facing a lack of enthusiasm among donors dismayed over the party's losses last year.
Many Democrat supporters say they're frustrated by the way the Biden administration secured their support on the premise Joe Biden could once again defeat Donald Trump, and say that the later switch to Kamala Harris left the party flat-footed. Still smarting over the failures, one anonymous donor complained to The Hill, quote, "They want us to spend money, and for what? For no message, no organization, no forward thinking." Bob Agnew reported.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is launching a state version of DOGE on a mission similar to that of the Trump Department of Government Efficiency, aimed at rooting out government waste, fraud, and abuse. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 27 points, the NASDAQ off 317 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. I've been thinking, why does it feel like losing weight is harder than ever before? Mixed messages, fad diets, and quick fix solutions. Many people are left stuck and exhausted trying to fight a battle they can't seem to win. If you feel this way, you're not alone. I used to feel that way too. But let me tell you, it's not your fault. Your body is actually actively working against you. I know this from personal experience. And delaying action only makes it harder. I took a step 2 years ago and called PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition, and I lost 40 pounds. I feel great, and I've kept it all off. If you are ready to make a change for your life, call 864-502-1777. That is 864-502-1777 to schedule your weight loss consultation. The first 11 callers who mention healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Call 864-505-1777 and mention the word healthy. Visit them at myphdweightloss.com. That is my PhD Weight Loss.
In the spirit of 1776, here's your chance to own a piece of history and show your commitment to liberty and justice. Introducing the beautiful, high-quality leather wallet, crafted with precision and pride, featuring the official Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association bronze badge on the inside. This isn't just a wallet. It's a bold statement of your values. Made with premium leather, it's built to last, just like the principles of our founding fathers. Don't wait. This is a limited edition. Once they're gone, they're gone. For $760, you can carry the spirit of 1776 with you wherever you go. Visit CSPOA.org to secure yours today. True patriots, don't wait. Get your CSPOA leather wallet now and join the movement to honor our Constitution and protect our freedoms. The badge and wallet for the CSPOA is a symbol of membership and should be used to indicate that affiliation rather than for any official or professional purposes.
Have you ever had great honey? No, I mean really good, all-natural, raw honey? Well, now you can, thanks to localhoneyman.com. We can ship out our locally made honey all across the U.S. So don't worry, you won't miss out. Plus, Local Honeyman has so many different flavors, like Utah Wildflower, High Desert Delight, Happy Valley, and Blackberry, just to name a few. So purchase your delicious raw honey today at localhoneyman.com.
Do you treasure your liberty? Well, at lovingliberty.net, we most certainly do. And we want to help protect your liberty too. Become part of the family. Everyone knows that the core of any society is the family. Therefore, the government should foster and protect the integrity of its family, we the people. Won't you join us as a Loving Liberty sponsor to help us promote the principles in the 5,000-year leap? Let's restore the miracle that changed the world at lovingliberty.net.
Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
All right, back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. The good sheriff with me, Sheriff Richard Mack, founder and president of the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. Become part of the posse today, cspoa.org. Confusion reigns over Musk saying, "What did you do last week?" What a bunch of clowns. I don't understand how they can't answer that simple question. I don't even know why they'd give federal employees a second chance. But hey, if you can't remember what you did last week, why don't you write down a couple of notes of what you do this week and then turn it in? I mean, this is such an easy exercise. It's beyond imagination. Every client that I do, I mean, they literally want me to write up specifications of what I've done for them and proposals and all kinds of stuff. It's insane. Anyway, I digress. There's a district judge, Deborah L. Boardman. She's a wacko. She blocks education department and what they call OPM from sharing data with DOGE, ladies and gentlemen. Zachary Stieber with the Epoch Times with the story. The Office of Personnel Management, OPM, I guess it's called, and its employees are also forbidden from disclosing the same information to the DOGE workers, the judge said. So you got the Education Department and the Office of Personnel Management by a judge saying they can't even cooperate and provide the information. Sheriff, these judges are out of control.
Well, yeah, they're politicians, Sam, and they've got to keep the Democrat agenda going. We just keep finding judges like this all the time that do not care about justice, do not care about their lack of authority, do not care about the law, and any judge that, in fact, there's lots of them that have such pride in taking that they can order the president not to do something or order him to do something. And one just recently came out, and a very similar judge that you can't do anything about immigration in or around a church. And if anybody violates this, it's warning to President Trump. If anybody violates this, you'll be held in contempt of court.
But hold on, where in the supreme law of the land, where the general government's given jurisdiction over the border, and where Congress is given jurisdiction of who can be in this country, and what,
right?
Where on earth can a judge just make up his own rules about a church or a this or a that or a?
Yeah.
That's just creating law from the bench. These judges need to be impeached.
Yeah. I hope that gets on the list of what Trump is doing, because obviously he's just now appointed a pardon czar, which, Sam, you and I have been pushing for that for a long time. Let's form a committee. Well, now there's actually someone appointed to look into people who should be pardoned. We've been wanting that.
Amen.
We were really pushing it while Amish farmer Sam Gerard served 4.5 years in prison after Danny C. Reeves, a crook of a judge, sentenced him to prison. And why? Because the judge had his pride hurt. And he wanted to teach this man a lesson, and any other Amish farmers or anybody else that think that they can defy the authority of the FDA. The FDA has no authority. That's the problem, Judge. And so, and really, these self-appointed kings and queens on the benches have just gotten, over the years, they've just gotten too big for their own britches, and it's astonishing that judges don't understand the limitations that our Constitution puts on them, and that the laws of the land are supreme and not their opinions and what they want to do for their party. Yeah.
Well, and it gets worse because these judges need to be impeached. We really need to. I mean, the judges every day are popping up, just stopping Trump here, there, everywhere. But what we really need is Congress to focus on the solutions, because if we codified Trump's actions by congressional legislation or by mandate, they wouldn't be able to stop us like this. And so this is where I say Congress has been derelict in their duty. They're not keeping up at all. Shame Mike Johnson and the GOP and their, quote, big, beautiful bill. They didn't listen to me and others who said you got to pass single, one item bills, one subject at a time bills. And you need to have up and down votes on them. And you need to start with constitutional issues. And we're going to fund the proper role of constitutional government. They've literally had now, let's see, they started on January the 3rd, and now it's February 25th. So they've literally had what? Almost 2 months now? Okay, 7 weeks to literally pass these bills that I'm talking about. What did they do? Oh, they battled and they whatever and approved a couple of appointees. That's great. They passed the Lake and Riley Act, which is good. But other than that, they haven't done anything. They went home and got beat up by their constituents. Now they're coming back. They've just wasted time. They show up at noon every day. They haven't codified or backed or done anything that I can see of significant substance. Now they want this big, beautiful bill. Folks, the big, beautiful bills have failed every single time. Now the door is closing. They say at the end of a basketball game or whatever, hey, the refrigerator doors are closing because, we're about out of time. And now Mike Johnson's finding out that he doesn't have the support for his big, beautiful bill. And he should have passed these and put people on record as being against certain things or voting for it. When you get these big bills, you can't do that. You can't hold people accountable. And so this big, beautiful bill is going to be a failure. They're going to kick the can down the road once again because Trump wants to spend trillions of dollars. And I think if you're really cutting the government and if DOGE is really finding out all this waste, why would we ever want to pass a big, beautiful bill that might spend money on some of those items that DOGE is finding? Why wouldn't you let DOGE start at the top and say, we're going to get rid of all the waste? And let Congress start at the bottom and say, we're only going to fund constitutional line items one at a time. They could have probably passed 200 bills by now. I mean, it's been 7 weeks. That's literally like 50 days. I mean, even if you passed 5 bills a day, Sheriff, a bill every 2 hours. Imagine a 10-hour workday for these clowns. And you'd literally have 250 bills passed that would be funding the proper role of government. And any time a bill failed or any time you would know who voted against common sense constitutional legislation. But see, they already failed. Mike Johnson is a dismal failure.
Well, yeah, he just seems to keep wanting to play all sides, and he forgot, he doesn't seem to be talking about it at all. But back during the campaign, he said, yeah, and that's going to be something else we're going to do is defund Planned Parenthood. When was the last time he brought that up? Why didn't he put that in his bill? Why hasn't he
That should have been number one. We're going to stand for life. It's the first bill on the docket.
Yeah. Well,
and again, we'll take names of everybody who votes against it, and you are targeted for the next election cycle to be replaced.
Yeah.
Right?
It's again, Sam, back to what I was saying, the cultural corruption of Washington, D.C. Even a decent person, which I think Mike Johnson is, can't see it because he's so used to it being there. And it's pretty astonishing.
Amen to that. Anyway, our prayers are for success, but I just feel like Mike Johnson's in the way, and I don't know what they've accomplished. I mean, can you literally tell me, besides the Lincoln-Riley Act and approving a couple of appointees at the Senate level, what else has the House done? Sheriff, do you know of anything significant?
Well, I'm sure they're not going to vote to repeal any laws. They are not voting to repeal any gun control laws that should all be repealed. And he's really not getting into this thing about controlling spending. And that's really where Planned Parenthood should be first on the list because it's illegal criminal spending. And he doesn't seem to get that part. It is criminal spending. And who in their right mind ever voted to fund an organization that is a private organization that provides no government service? And I can understand that there would be contracts with some groups, but those would be very seldom. It would be like the state of Arizona or the county, Graham County, hiring a company to do paving, or to do some sort of construction that we need done. So we don't have our own construction companies within our own government, so they're put out to contract. We don't make our own cars, so we put that out to contract and to bid.
And rightly so.
And rightly so. But Planned Parenthood, a private organization that helps kill babies, and we're funding that because the Democrat Party wanted it, which means some Republicans
and the
have gone along.
Republican Party didn't have the guts to stop it.
Right, exactly. And you know why they didn't? Because they wanted to make sure they kept women voting for them. This is how utterly corrupt it is.
Well, I got news for Mike Johnson. Shame, first of all. What you need to do immediately, my friend, starting today, is you need to put single-issue bills up for vote that support and fund the proper role of government. So when they say, oh, we're going to shut down government, when the Democrats pull that trick, you go, we don't care. We've already voted for 500 bills that have already funded the most basic components of the proper role of government, and we don't even care if you shut it down. In fact, be my guest. All that'll do is give DOGE more time to make sure many of you never come back. And then the last thing I would say is this. When Musk asked, what did you do last week? Did he ask all the members of Congress? And can they give me a 5-pointer of what they did last week? Man, that ought to be asked to Congress too, shouldn't it, Sheriff?
Yeah, no kidding.
Hey, what did your congressman do last week? I think that they owe a report to the American people.
Nancy Pelosi made more money on her stock that she got through inside trading.
Yeah, and somebody needs to investigate that till the cows come home. Cash, let's go, brother. Let's get her done. I mean, I'm just saying, we have got to. Anyway, there is one guy who I really dearly like and appreciate, and I'm grateful for him. He's a leader. His name is Mike Lindell, and he's going to tell you what he did last week, Sheriff.
Yeah, he had a meeting with the president, and he was recommending to him to get rid of computerized voting, and Trump congratulated him, said, yes, I'm glad you're still pushing this, and I don't know where that stands, where it's going now to get a law or to find a way to undo.
I emailed this to you. Go ahead and break down some of the details because he says it was an hour-and-a-half meeting. I mean, who gets an hour and a half with the president? That's incredible. But listen to all the details they talked about. Here it is.
Well, I looked. Just so you know, I get his emails too, and I looked. I go, oh
perfect.
yeah, I did get it. I just didn't see it yet. But go ahead.
It's entitled My Meeting with President Trump. And he says, hey, everyone, this is Mike Lindell. There's so much to tell you, our great friends and supporters, about the shift that has taken place even in the last 3 days. We're going to end the voting machines. You make the difference here. Wow. Saying that even 2 months ago might have gotten me more lawsuits, but today it's a reality because President Trump agrees with us. I met with President Trump for 90 minutes. Our discussion ranged from clerk Tina Peters, in other words, hey, let's pardon and free her ASAP, right, to abolishing the machines. Sorry, it's on different lines. It's half written. Anyway, I gave President Trump our 2024 election report showing best practices for our elections, where election crimes were committed, why we have to melt down these machines and use them for prison bars for the criminals who have been cheating us. Anyway, click here to view the full report. So not only does he tell you what he's been doing, he gives you a whole report on it, ladies and gentlemen. President Trump thanked us for not giving up. Thank you, President Trump, for keeping your word to help us secure our elections. We must lead the way, not be the example of how to cheat in the world. I also challenged too big to rig with President Trump. I know the bad guys will be ready to find new and more devastating ways to cheat if we're not playing offense.
Yeah.
Recently, Elon Musk even came out saying, as a, quote, technology expert, we need to come out and vote by paper ballots. I'm glad Elon Musk agrees with me on this. And then he says it's not fixed yet. I never want you to forget the part you played in securing our elections and bringing our country back from the depths of despair. You stood firm. You gave when you had nothing left to give, and you were relentless in your faith that we would get to see the day our country was greater than ever. Thank you. Without you, we would not have made it this far. Anyway, Monday night, we'll hold our weekly Cause of America call. You're welcome to join us and register at the link below. So now this guy's literally having weekly meetings about this. He's got a report. He's telling you he met with the president for 90 minutes. It's so important to stay connected and see our progress all the way through till the end. Lindell Offense Fund. God bless you all, and please stay faithful with us. We're not done with this fight yet. Mike Lindell Offense Fund. I love that he doesn't have a defense fund. He has an offense fund. And then he basically says, can you help us and donate and all that? I'm just telling you, that guy reported to you what he did last week, sir.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike Lindell has been unwavering and relentless in his battle to protect elections in this country. My hat's off to him. You and I are friends of his. He has been a warrior, and he's lost a lot of money on it. So, look, we've all lost money in this battle for freedom, but Lindell's has been very exponential, and so I totally admire him. I appreciate what he's done and what he's doing, and God bless him for his efforts. What an absolute warrior.
Amen. Catherine Engelbrecht over at True the Vote emailed me too, kind of an update on what she's been doing as well, Sheriff, last week and beyond. Hi, friend. Thank you for taking a minute to read this note. Lots to share. First, I want you to know that we're still firing on all cylinders here at True the Vote, supporting activists nationwide and increasingly worldwide, pressing in on our lawsuits, developing new trainings and tools, and gearing up for Wisconsin's Supreme Court election. And we're advancing the cause of election integrity. We're fired up. Nationally, globally, freedom is making a comeback. But it's far from over, so let's roll, she says. And then they say basically they've got a call now for DOGE to audit the voter rolls. Yeah, the Department of Government Efficiency ought to dig in and check out them voter rolls. Amen to that.
Absolutely.
Then she says, nothing replaces citizen engagement. We're partnering with you as the citizens to help you engage and coordinate all efforts across the country. Stopping the, quote, slush fund. You may have read in the news that several states have linked, quote, nonprofit organizations allegedly receiving billions of tax dollars earmarked for them. But they're not the only ones. And so she says, Fair Fight is suing us. Anyway, she goes on and highlights the money, and she wants DOGE to dig in and get to the bottom of the scandal. Then she says, but wait, there's more. Have you heard about this? A former Democrat top operative, fed up with the corruption that she saw within the Democrat Party, has gone public to expose their money. And then she gives you this Lindy Lie on Sean Ryan podcast, and it basically highlights that. Then she says election integrity is achievable. Anyway, so Catherine Engelbrecht, Mike Lindell writes reports of exactly what they're doing in their organizations. So I'm just telling you that we're not just criticizing the government for being confused about this and not being willing to deliver. We're delivering ourselves. I mean, go look at my show notes if you want to see what I did last week. You got 6 hours of show notes and about 5 videos that you can review, telling you what I'm focused on, what I'm doing. You can look at the CSPOA.org and check out the weekly webinars and the news section where Rick Dalton, our legislative liaison, writes a monthly report on what he's doing. Everybody does this, Sheriff.
Yeah, and
except your government bureaucrats on the dole sitting at home, they want to riot.
That's the proper role of business, and it should be the proper role of government. Always verifying. Trust but verify what your people are doing. As an employer, the people of this country have a right to know. Most of the people in Washington, D.C. don't want anybody to know what they're doing. And rightfully so, because it's so totally corrupt.
All right, a couple of quick tidbits to end out the hour that I think are worth highlighting. Believe it or not, Salem Media's Mike Gallagher interviews key players at White House meeting. Talkers Magazine with this piece. I guess it was at the White House Media Day, so I commend them for that. That's what Mike Gallagher's been doing. He went to the White House and interviewed all these different people, Trump and Musk and everybody else. That's what Mike Gallagher's been doing. MSNBC is reporting what they're doing, by the way. Jen Psaki, former White House reporter, she's going to anchor a nightly weekend show during prime time. So again, the revolving door between the media and the government continues. Lester Holt to step down as anchor of NBC Nightly News. He's going to be stepping down. Nobody wants to hear what these clowns have to say anymore, Sheriff. It's obvious. No one wants it.
It's absolutely true. We're tired of the same old crap from them. All it is resistance to Trump and resistance to anything that's constitutional. And it's really made me laugh, Sam, to hear Democrats talking about the Constitution. And just yesterday, Kamala Harris used the term, it wasn't her that used the term constitutional republic. She used the term, the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. So she's trying to use that to say we've got to be vigilant against what the Republicans are doing. Not the proper role of government, but just to, again, be the resistance to what the Republicans are doing and the Trump new government. So I can't believe that they do that, because they never talk about the Constitution when it has anything to do with what they're doing. So anyway, keep going.
Well, and I guess my only question on this for all these people is, hey, the Democrats feel like, oh, the only reason the American people aren't supporting what we're doing is because they're ignorant. And my response is, it's very clear. You've had so many of your whacked out media personnel let go now because Americans know that that what you've been doing is fraudulent. What you've been doing is for money, not for the proper role of government, for money, not telling the truth in the media. And I'm telling you, the new media is taking center stage, and things are changing big time. I mean, you see that Joy Reid literally melting down because they got rid of the Readout show. They don't want it anymore. No one wants to hear what she has to say. And she's like, oh my gosh, I thought I was doing such a valuable job. No, you didn't. You know full well the American people absolutely rejected your play back in November when they let President Trump win. You know they rejected everything you have to say, Joy. So now it's time for you just to retire and go away. I know you're sad, but you got more money than the rest of us put together. So just retire with grace and dignity and go away, because nobody wants to hear what you have to say. We're sick of it. We're done with it because you're not honest with the American people. That's the problem. And I'm telling you right now, the issue is honesty. The new media is taking center stage. Get used to it, because you're going to see more of it every single day. Mike Gallagher, Salem, going to the White House to prove the point while Joy Reid gets fired. Doesn't that tell the tale, Sheriff?
It really does. And it's very telling. And just how many of these are dropping like flies. Because, one, their ratings are horrible, Sam. They have completely tanked. And so it's a matter of survival that all these leftist news outlets, CNN and MSNBC, all of them, are trying to survive now. And they're trying to make a comeback. And they know they can't do it with the same old.
I wouldn't work for those clowns, would you?
I would, if they let me say what I want.
No, hold on, that's the problem, see? They won't let you say what you want.
Well, then they would never hire me.
Yeah, there you go. I'm just trying to make a point, ladies and gentlemen. I believe in letting people say what they want. Whenever the good sheriff comes on the radio, he can say whatever he wants for 2 hours. Imagine that. Freedom of speech. You gotta love it. Ladies and gentlemen, what you can do for us is become part of the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. You, as a member of the posse, can make one of the biggest differences in the country as you stand with God, family, and country and help sheriffs keep their oaths of office. Become a member of the posse today, cspoa.org. God save the Republic.